This episode is partially brought to you by the Humble Choice program. Did you know Humble Bundle has a great monthly subscription service that lets you get a ton of video games every single month? That's right, from plans range from $5 to $20 a month, you get a hold of a bunch of free games they have available to you. And you could use our code down in the description below to go and sign up. It would help our podcast and help you see what great games are available for you this month.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to one of these fun interview episodes of the SWW show. I'm Mike. I'm doing a solo interview today because AJ is currently, out doing AJ things. So today I was with a special guest from decently around the world, I would say. Marco. Marco is here to talk about his game in Easy Red 2. To get us started, Marco, how are you doing today?
Hey, thank you a lot for inviting me here. I'm doing great. I'm finally in a good period after 2 years of development on my current game, which is actually still in development, but at least we managed to release the 1.0. And after 2 years of hard work, we are finally getting good results. So I'm very happy. And this is a great period for me. So thank you for asking.
Perfect. To get us started, do you mind telling everyone who might not have heard of it, what is Easy Red 2?
Sure. Easy Red 2 is a World War II simulator with many sandbox features. It might looks like it's another game between many other games of the same genre, but actually Easy Red 2 tries to implement many new features, such as a very deep mission editor that can work with Steam Workshop, where you can play maps with friends, with bots, in PvE, in PvP. There are like many features about sandbox and playing with friends. So we are trying to make something slightly different from what other games like Battlefield has been done, or what like Postscriptum or other simulator games that might look similar in the gameplay.
So I immediately want to kind of talk about how you're going into kind of this genre of games that is, I would argue, and maybe you'll correct me, that I think is a decently full genre of games, and then has the secondary effect of people really into their game. Kind of like if you go to someone who's like into Arma, like that's what they play. I'm kind of curious, as like the new person like in the field, kind of like going into this genre, how do you kind of make sure that like people are willing to check out your game, kind of versus like staying in their silo?
So basically you're asking why did I choose to develop this kind of genre, considering that there are like huge games that are already try to fight to get the market. Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, I would say that, and like that. Yeah, let's start right there.
Okay. First of all, obviously, the main reason is a passion that I always had for realistic games, not only war simulators or in general simulators games, but I always like the games that represent real things that happened or might happen in the world, in the humanity, and surely World War II has been a great event that everyone that affected everyone in the world, and still is affecting every one of us. So it's surely one setting that I was really interested in to replicate it inside a game, to show what was it, to show how it happened. And this is the main reason. It's like a passion reason again. But yeah, as you said, there are other games that are surely trying to do to take their place on the market, on these specific markets. You mentioned Arma, and I agree. Arma is surely another game that can be considered, a big a big game on this genre, but there are still, I think, many things that none of the current games on the market tried to bring on this genre in particular. So basically, along with my passion, I'm also trying to make something that I really consider different from other games and include many features that I have to say when I was a child and when I was playing such games, I really wished they were there actually. So what I'm doing is basically trying to make again something similar to such games. So something different from such games. Something that other players that are not finding in those games can hopefully find in Easy Red 2.
That's interesting. So I always want to give kudos to the people who are kind of going into this. I think kind of because there's a couple of genres out there that I always think are like that hard to break into genre. For obvious, like just because like there are people kind of in their ways. One of the broader things though with this genre as a whole, I would argue, is getting new players kind of into this genre. Is there anything that you've kind of focused on while making this game to try and like entice new players into these more intense, more kind of strict games, kind of versus like the Call of Duties of the world?
That's really a good question. I have to say that surely this is possible, to convince people to try something a little bit different from the other kind of war games that they are usually playing. But I think this kind of genre is very, very specific. And if a player doesn't really already like this genre, didn't already had the chance to test it in maybe his childhood or in general in his video game past, it's very hard to let them understand that this is not like a fast game like a Call of Duty is, sort of an almost arena-like game. So usually the biggest critics on the gameplay of the game, in fact, comes from those people that are usually judging the game like this is too slow, animation aren't quick enough, movements might be a little bit too clunky, but they're probably just searching for other different games, and it's hard, I think, if they doesn't like this kind of simulation to introduce them to this world. Again, surely someone might eventually understand this and might eventually try to play this different approach of war games, but I think everyone, after all, has his own preferences, and it's hard to change someone just giving them another different game from the one they usually play without maybe spend many times trying to let him understand why this is different and why it doesn't respect the standard of games that he usually plays.
It's always it's the old like people like what they like adage. I think always just makes this kind of stuff rough. So kind of, so we've talked about kind of how you are I don't want to say, I keep calling them simulation restrictor type games, so that's kind of what it is to me. So I'm kind of curious, kind of as we talk about this broad thing of like you went in kind of with these goals. Is there anything, obviously, since the game is now out in 1.0 and has been for a couple months, that like you're really proud of, or you think is a cool selling point for people when debating if they should check out this game, kind of mechanically?
Well, so basically the game, as you mentioned, is now in 1.0 since the 6th of January. So yeah, it's almost a month. And the game has been in early access for another year previously. And I want to introduce this idea, this concept of myself, which is on my past, especially maybe because I almost always worked alone. But I always found different to see one of my game 100% complete, because I always see that I can still get going on working, improving that animation, changing the texture. There isn't like a final step point where I look at some feature or some assets on graphic aspect and say, okay, I cannot do anything better than this. I think this is impossible, and I think this is something that maybe other game developers actually thinks. So what I'm trying to do usually is trying to bring up with suggestions of players and trying to keep up and continue working on everything players thinks could be improved according to most requested suggestions. And of course, I always consider what I prefer my game to be like, of course, because again, this comes from my passion first of all. But until there are people that are interested on the game and they want it to evolve and stuff, I think I will still continue working on it, even if it's on 1.0, because 1.0 first for me it's mostly a point where the game is 100% playable, doesn't have bugs, or at least the few bugs that it has are bugs that were not noticed, not bugs obviously that are like ignored from the development. So it's like a milestone, like say, okay, now the game is ready, now the game can be played, but still I consider this sort of a game service, like you pay not only to get a full complete game, but you also pay to be able to get in touch with me or with other members, with other collaborators, and give us suggestions to keep on working on this until there are players that still want this game to be developed.
No, that makes a lot of kind of sense. Is there any of those kind of features or upcoming requests that you guys have talked about that people should kind of expect in the game in the coming months?
Sure. There are mostly two lines of the development that are keeping up. One is I want to talk first of this. One is the DLC line, which is basically a series of DLCs that will probably be planned, very cheap ones that will be useful just to get the budget to keep up working on the game. And the only one that is currently planned is the Stalingrad DLC. So it's a Russian front, new Russian weapons, uniforms, vehicles, planes, maps, props, a lot of stuff, voice lines, of course, musics, very, very, very lot of stuffs. It again will be very, very cheap and will be required probably 2, 3, maybe 4 months of development. It's very hard to me to give a precise timing. While the other line of the development that we are going ahead is the one that I just mentioned, which is the suggestion development and in general the progression of the base game, which is obviously which are obviously free updates. The biggest thing that we are going to rework during next month in these free updates are the art style, because again, thanks to the 1.0, we have been able to increase the budget for the game. We found a guy that is very, very helping us. He will probably take part of art style development, especially art style coordination between all modelers, to bring a new art style, which will be something more coherent with all the game. Some rework that will change a lot on maps, on props, especially on buildings. Probably there will be new destruction systems, a lot of stuff that will mostly rework graphics and animations. And this is a rework that will be probably happen at the same time with the development of the Stalingrad DLC. And also during these free updates that we are releasing constantly, we also are listening for much smaller suggestions. For example, it happened very often that at some point many players get convinced that some new vehicles needs to be added to the game, and adding just one or anyway just a few vehicles is not a very, very hard task. We are usually making weekly updates to fix smaller bugs and stuff. And if possible, we also include a few weapons or a few vehicles from the one that has been suggested the most on the previous week. So I think for some new player, the development might be very confused, but there are basically these two main developments going on at the same time. The DLC one, the base game one, and this second one has big features that are coming in the next month and small features that usually comes every week.
I meant to ask, because it sounds like there's a lot going on in this game. How big is the team that's currently working on it?
Well, actually, it's very, very small. Until the release of the 1.0, it was basically me. Plus, there was small cooperators that were making some stuff just from time to time. Like voice actor, of course, that works for the game for a few hours, and then usually they doesn't get in touch anymore because their part is done. Or 3D modelers that basically waits for new models on request from me, makes all the models, and then they deliver me and wait for the next time I need help while they work on other projects, of course. But with the 1.0 development, I'm surely trying to get some more solid team. In fact, as I said, this new guy that is going to help us, this new art director, will probably be working full-time on graphics. It's already actually starting doing this part of the job. And he will also try to cooperate with other of the 3D modelers that I mentioned before that helped me until now. So until the 1.0, I had to say that the only one person that was working full-time of the game was me. Now we are two, and maybe in the next months we will expand the team a little bit more.
Wow. It sounds like you have been busy. I want to say congratulations on getting the game out into this 1.0 on Steam, because that is always a kind of a thing that it's just hard to do. So obviously the game we've been talking about is Easy Red 2. You are under, if people look for the game on Steam, it's under your name, Marco Amadei. Please
yeah, it's name. Yeah, the correct pronunciation is Marco Amadei, but yeah, of course, can be a little bit tricky to pronounce for non-Italians, so don't worry.
See, I'm gonna embarrass you and tell you I'm half Italian, and my dad's from, his family's directly from Italy, so that's the embarrassing part of that one. But yeah, people should check it out. Again, it's Easy Red 2. Is there anything else that you think people should know, or any last minute sales pitches for people who want to go check out your game?
I think that if they just get to see the Steam page, take a look to some of the description on the game, see what's the game actually about, see how many bosses they can find the game, see how many features they can expect. It's really hard to list all of the stuff that are in the game, because there's a lot. There's a squad system, there are many vehicles, there are planes, there is much simulation, penetration of projectiles, or projectiles can ricochet. There are many features. It's really hard to explain them in a small podcast. In fact, I didn't focus on explaining all of this. So I think the only thing I can really suggest to players is open the Steam page, take a look to the game, take a look if you are interested on the features. If you have any questions, I'm always available. I try to reply as every message I can on Discord, or if I cannot, I have a few moderators that are usually helping me, pointing out questions made up by the users to let me reply quick and in a precise way. So my real suggestion is just take a look to the game, see if you are interested, and if you have questions, you can always contact me. This is always have been a very important thing in the development, staying in touch with the community, listening to feedback. So don't worry, I'm here to try to I'll answer every question I get.
Perfect. And I assume they could find a link to this Discord, I assume, just on either the game or the game's website.
Sure. It's on the Steam page. It's on many discussions of Steam. It will be easy to find it. Sure.
Perfect. Well, again, Marco, I want to say thank you for your time today, taking out of your afternoon to talk to me about Easy Red 2. Again, one more time, people, it's Easy Red 2. Go check out on Steam. Go buy it. Go wishlist it. Go do all of that fun stuff. It has very positive reviews, and apparently there's a lot more content coming. So again, Marco, thank you for your time today.
Thank to you. It was very nice to be here with you today.
This podcast was a production of the SWW Show. To learn more, go to theswwshow.com. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter at theswwshow. You can follow me at Mikey_Maroney. You can follow AJ at LowSeatBoy. Remember, new episodes premiere on Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time on anchor.fm/SWW and podcast services around the globe.